opinions are, good opinions too.
If you're in my way, we gotta do battle.
Here goes. He's gonna attack!
Dirt bikes basically is my life. My brain probably wanders a lot. I don't know.
Here it is, the Moto Limited Show. Welcome, everybody, to show number 22, and we are back with a big show here for show 22, brought to you by MPE Suspension and Pro Powder Coating. Tonight's show, big one for us. We are going to be going through a 450 review, or preview should I say, man, we've got some cool guests coming up to talk about this as well. So as always, the Moto Limited Show is brought to you by MPE Suspension, mpesuspension.com.au. Paul and the team up there have been doing it for over 15 years with your suspension modifications, everything like that, as well as being the Husqvarna dealer up on the Sunshine Coast. So if you're in the need for a new Husqvarna, or you need to get that bike handling better, I know Paul is flat out at the moment with all the 21 stuff and testing and getting ready for the new season, but definitely go up there and get Paul if you want the best in the game to do it. MPE are also the leading sponsors of our local state series stuff with the Central Queensland Motocross, Sunshine State Motocross, and Queensland Motocross series. So, as always, support the sponsors that support the show here, and also that support the sport that we get to enjoy. And as always, mention the Moto Limited Show up there, and they will try and help you out. Pro Powder Coating, is again Adam and the team there, propowder.com.au, with over 10 years in the business, specialising in mining, energy, agricultural, automotive and engineering industry sectors. Their point of difference is protecting your investment. So you want something to be protected better than just paint, powder coating's the way to go. They do a lot of stuff for drag racing, speedway, motocross, and many more sports. So if you want something done, your moto frame, there's a few frames going around at the moment, and a few bike builds, you want it done properly, go and see Adam and the team there. Mention the Moto Limited Show, and they'll help you out as well. And new sponsor on the show is TCX Boots. The TCX Comp Evo 9 is a high-quality, affordable boot. Retails for $5.99. Features a double flex control system for around the ankle area to improve support without compromising the feel, as well as the Michelin MX Hybrid sole with micro grooves in there to evacuate water for maximum grip on the pegs at all time. Check them out at your local retailer or at linkin.com.au. The boot choice of myself, as well as top off-road rider Josh Green. So if you want to check them out, new sponsor for us, so massive shout out to TCX Boots for coming on board. So as I said, big show for show 22 here. Joining me as always in the director chair, it's director Nick. What is going on, buddy?
Mate, another day, doing a bit different show. It's daylight outside. What's going on?
It's daylight outside, so we are pre-recording these shows. This will be the second show that we're recording for the day. We're doing a 250 and 450 preview shows.
Yep.
And we've got guests from America joining us. So we've got the industry inside of the guys that are on the ground over there, seeing as though we can't get our backsides to the States to try and do some of this.
Don't rub it in.
I know. So we got some of them on. So it's daytime. We're pre-recording these two shows, so 21 and this show 22. We'll come out in the next, we'll be out. By the time you listen to this, you would have already listened to 21. But yeah, so daytime. Live stream is working, but we're not live streaming these shows.
And that frustrates me a lot.
It is. It does. We worked last night and got it sorted, and you're like, oh, I wish we could live stream. I was like, well, it's daytime. Nobody's going to be listening to us today. But massive effort by yourself to put it together.
Thank you.
It looks good. We're getting somewhere. Feels like. Feels like in life.
A few little teething issues, but...
Yeah, so, guys, our first live show will be the 4th of January. when we get back from the Christmas break. We'll be live on the Facebook and YouTube, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join in, you'll be able to comment through to the show. We'll be able to see all them, have a conversation with you, answer questions if you want to throw a question our way. That's going to be happening. So the next show back, the 4th of January, will be the first live show that we do. We're still working on the lineup for that one, but we've been working hard trying to get these two shows together. So we're working at it. And a new sponsor on the show, Nick, TCX Boots.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool to have Link International jump on board and sponsor a show with the TCX Boots. Personal boots of myself, so
hey.
I can vouch for them. They're definitely.
I'm sure I've worn them before.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean the new ones are different again. I think I wore a new of people that had the older ones.
Yeah.
But the new ones are much better.
Yeah.
Feel better.
And that's like in the way of boots too. That's a cheap, affordable boot.
It is, and I
Like,
mean
compared to other brands,
Well-
where you can be spending $900 plus.
easy,
So, yeah.
easy. And as I said, like I have a bad ankle. Like I don't.
So does my boy.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's as worse quality of boot than the top of the range.
Yeah.
Well, Alpine Star's the leader. Everyone wants to wear, Tech 10s, and I'm like, this is the same sort of boot. They're just this whole inner booty thing always gets me. I lose feel with it. Where
See, and a lot, like I've heard a lot of people, like a lot of the Supercross riders in the US, do not wear inner booties.
Yeah,
Like they pull them out of the boot.
Yeah, I mean, I lose all feel. So with these, I got good ankle support for my dodgy ankle, but I can still feel everything, and I'm fussy as. I mean, when I'm racing and I'm real fussy, dude, I will Tech 8s because I didn't like the molded sole. Like I'm getting used to the molded sole on these TCXs and enjoying them. So, but no, it's cool to have them on board, and as always, Pro Powder and MPE, big sponsors of the show. So today's show for us, number 22, we are doing the 450 preview. I'm excited to get our guest on. We're going to get him on here in a little bit, but let's start off with what you think about the Supercross schedule.
The schedule is okay. It's not ideal. There's not rounds obviously in California, but from what's happening in the world right now, any race is good.
Yeah,
and the fact that they can run 17 rounds, I'm all for it. And like, dude, there's places like Orlando that just got onto the schedule last week. That's cool. Like, we've never seen it there before. So,
well, apparently we have years ago. I did some research.
Steve lied.
I've done some research. We've been there. Apparently, it went there ages ago, but it's a really old stadium, and it's not the greatest. The change, and we put a post up, and when I read it, I seen Atlanta, so I thought, we're going to Mercedes-Benz Dome, but it is actually Atlanta Motor Speedway. So there's apparently going to be three different tracks on the one location, and the 3 rounds are going to be around the Atlanta Motor Speedway in different sections.
That's cool.
Tracks.
Have they raced in there before?
No. So it's never. So it's going to be like.
So that's the NASCAR track or the IndyCar track?
The NASCAR track. I think. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
that's almost like a Daytona feel.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like Daytona? And from everything that we've heard, and our guests will surely ask them, it's like we want to see more stuff like Daytona, so like out there stuff on these speedway tracks, a different feel, but make it a Supercross track.
Exactly, but like, and when you think about it, like 3 rounds outside again, that adds a completely different variable.
Weather.
And it's Orlando. It's Florida. Dude, it rains there every day.
Yeah, and I'm stoked. I mean, the biggest thing is, like, I've heard conversations about what the track's going to look like. I mean, imagine seeing a track that just had, like, 200-meter, like, rhythm lane. Like, just, like, a straight rhythm lane and then turn and then, like, just insane. It'd be sick to see something really weird like that. Really, because, I mean, you put a heap of corners in, that's where the passing, but most of the time the passing comes from the rhythm lanes and people doing different stuff and getting the speed. Like, imagine seeing a rhythm lane where they're just going at it all the way down to the end and then turn, and I reckon it'd be sick.
Well, could you see like the guys from like Baker's factory benefiting from this? Like, it's the same soil.
Yeah, but I mean, they truck soil in for different.
True. I would dare think that they're going to keep it sort of like iconic to be that sort of sandy, sort of based loam.
I mean, you don't know. Like we had the round in Tampa last year.
That was different, yeah.
And it was hard. It looked like hard as a rock, and they put that beach sand in it.
Was that? Do you remember that section where Eli passed AC?
Yeah,
and AC like went backwards in the sand.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That's the one. So that's what I mean. Like and that was baked like black, you know. So and that's in Florida, but. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I think they'll truck in the dirt they need to build a proper Supercross track and for it to hold together. Like, I mean, they've got choices of soil everywhere.
Yeah.
So
well, with Tampa, believe it or not, but they built the track out of clay and then they topped it with sand.
Yeah.
That's why, like, in that section, they were getting so much drive because in the bottom of the rut, they were down into freaking clay. That's why it was so slick as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I like the schedule, no Triple Crowns, which, I mean... It's funny, like the reason they're not having them is because the teams can't carry that amount of bikes. Because I mean, you know, there's no West Coast rounds really, so everything's going to be on the truck over east, or central to east. And they're like, well, we can't carry that many spare bikes. And it's like, what about the privateers that never have it anyway? Like, I know they're not in the championship hard and none of that stuff, but it's just funny how it's like, we're not going to have it because the teams can't carry that many bikes. And it's like, okay, like I guess we see who dictates terms.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like it looks positive coming into it, but there's a lot of variables that they've got to get through just to get to Supercross.
That's right. All right, well, we won't talk too much more because I'm sure our guest is going to have a lot more to say on this, and we'll probably re-go over some of this stuff. So we'll be back shortly, and we will get our guest on. Alrighty, and joining us on the show for this 450 AMA Supercross preview show, we have the host of the Main Event Moto Podcast and the pit reporter for Supercross on NBC, Daniel Blair, joining us, mate. Thank you for coming on our show.
Yeah, thank you guys. How's life in the future? You're a day ahead of me. Is everything cool? Because it's...
Yeah, it's weird having you guys, and you're like, it's nighttime the day before, and we're just like... Man, we're rocking into the next day.
I'm getting ready for dinner. I got some friends coming over for the night to stay the night, a family friend. We got drinks planned. Like, I'm getting ready to, like, wind down the week. You boys are already into your weekend.
Yeah, we're kicking it.
We wound down last night. All right, Daniel, well, we got you on because we wanted to obviously talk about 450 Supercross coming up here in 2021 and all the riders and team changes. There's been a lot going on in this silly season. We've been trying to wrap our heads around it, and we thought we need to get an expert on who's there and gets to talk to these guys because, unfortunately, we can't get over there at the moment. So pretty much how we wanted to run this is kind of talk about some names that we want to sort of talk about how they're going to go, where we see them going, and things like that. You know, obviously we'll start with Eli Tomac. He's got to be the favorite. He's got the one on the big green cowie. He's going to be the favorite. I don't think anyone disputes me in saying that.
I agree. I mean, you got to look at it a couple different ways. The first way is on paper, right? You look at his age, injury history. He's pretty healthy. He's on a bike that's not changed much. He's won, I think it was like 40-something% of the main events the last 4 years. He's the number one guy. Like, on paper, you can't argue. You don't even allow anyone. If they try to argue, just tell them to shut up because on paper, it's not debatable. But the Supercross, like, who picked Anderson to win?
Yeah,
nobody.
True.
Who picked Webb to win? Nobody. Who picked Tomac to win? Everybody.
Yeah.
So you never know, man. There's just too many fast guys to say like it's a guarantee. It's like, so if he's the favorite, it's by what? Like a couple percentage points? It's so small back to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes.
So, but yeah, he's the favorite. And I don't know if you guys saw an Instagram video of him the other day. I don't know if he put it up or maybe Alpine Stars or somebody, but he looks filthy right now.
Yeah.
Like, he looks...
Yeah.
He looks ready. Really ready.
He put a video up the other day, like him riding around Colorado with his hoodie on, and dude, he looked dirty.
Yeah. I think it was the Bell Helmets one.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why? It looks easy and effortless, And for him, like, you've seen crazy speed over the years, but he always looks like he's trying whatever. It seems like he's found a way to make that speed easy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, you go to a Supercross, it's a brand-new track. You got all the elements of the other riders, so that's going to, play a part. But purely as a rider, he just looks like he's got it. Like, he's peak prime. Like, it's just as good as it could be right now. And that's scary for a guy who's won almost half the mains in the last 4 years. So he's a favorite. It's no question. But I will say in this sport, it's not like the McGrath or Carmichael days. Him being the favorite is very, very tiny. Yeah. It's one little slip up or one, a shock setting that didn't work for three. Something like that can change the whole thing because everyone's so good now. So he's a favorite. I'll give it to him, but he's not sleeping easy. There's no way because there's just so many good guys that are right there.
I would put Cooper second. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's just after the season last year, or this year, sorry, he had the injury, he come back, dude, he still brung it to the last 2 rounds. So, and he was sort of the only rider out of all of them that took Eli the whole way.
Well, he took the most points out of Salt Lake City.
Exactly,
like he was the best in Salt Lake. So, if we can get that Cooper Webb to show up at Houston 1, which is weird to say still, it's going to be, Eli is ahead, but if we get that Cooper Webb, he's not that much ahead of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. At Salt Lake, he was the best there. He's the 2019 champ, and he didn't look into it. He was better than everybody when it mattered. And I'll tell you the truth. I mean, you guys know it's a mentality issue. Once you get to the top, Roczen, Webb, they're all like within a 0.1% of each other, but it's all up here in the brain. And I can tell you right now, if every rider in the field would love to win the title next year, but I think Webb's the only one that will be furious if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of brain, it's like an old school brain. And I look at the tracks, we lost the Glendale races, which are not good for Cooper. We go to all these tracks like that are tight, sticky, inside line, low berm, ruddy whoops. So you're jumping. I mean, if you look at the schedule, it's kind of built for Webb. Yeah. And even Muscan, he's kind of getting like left out of the conversation. I'm sure we'll get to him.
Yeah.
You got to bring him back in too because of the track types. Yeah. It's this tight, sticky, jumpy type tracks that they're going to have. And it suits those guys and suits guys that get good starts. So the schedule, I think, actually works against Eli a little bit just because of where we're going. We're going to places where he's had goofy things happen.
Yeah.
And places where you can't make up from bad starts as much. So that's the one thing, like for Webb, I'll give him a little bit of a boost over the rest. Is I just think the tracks will suit him, the stadiums will, and his brain. He's bitter if he's not winning, and that mentality will carry you through 4 months of racing.
Yeah, and I
think when he was winning, he had it.
Yeah. And I was listening to I think it was Dean Wilson the other day, and they were talking about the Bakers factory at the moment. That track is the roughest, it's the most technical it's ever been, and dude, that is going to benefit them 100% when they get to these East Coast rounds, which are renowned for being, rough, muddy, and just ruddy. Like, it's just going to benefit them boys. Yep. And like Daniel was just saying, like, Marvin is such a technical rider. Like, he can make time up by jumping through the whoops, etc. like that. Like, it's just like you said. I reckon the same thing. It's going to benefit them boys 100%.
I agree. And again, California has become way less meaningful this year. I see guys out doing their motos, and I'm kind of just like, okay, I know you live there. You got to do what you got to do, but we ain't. No. It's not going to be a lot of that this year. It is going to be. I mean, Houston is always soft. Arlington has somehow turned into a soft race. It used to be hard pack, but everything is going to be ruddy, sticky, line changing, and that's where, again, those Baker Factory guys are good because they thrash those tracks and they do their motos when things are pretty bad. And in Supercross, by the time you get to the end of the night, the 450 main, I know the track crew will go do some stuff, but by like the 7th lap, it's bad, and it's just survival. And those dudes, they're good at stuff like that. And these stadiums are. It's kind of all built in their favor a little bit right now.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, we've gone Tomac and Webb. There's sort of 1A, and I think the next guy that I want to talk about, and I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that's going to have these same question marks, is obviously Ken Roxon. Like, what are we going to see out of Kenny this year? Like, are we going to see... Because, I mean, I went back the other day and watched the 20 recap, and he was super dominant at the start of this year, and we all forget because of what we watched at Salt Lake. So my question is, do we get the first half of the year Kenny, or do we get Salt Lake Kenny? And I'm hoping that the time off, we get start of the year Kenny.
He's the hardest one to read, man, because you know what it is the potential. Like on any given night, he could just be better than everybody. I don't know. I'm thinking of the triple crown at Glendale, St. Louis. He has the ability to just be better than everybody. But my biggest concern is like everything else. You know, the is he healthy? I hope so. I think so. I've heard he is. Is he motivated? I would think after a summer off, he'd probably be really fired up, but then he just had a kid. There's just so many variables that I don't, it's one of those things where I don't think you can ever really predict with him. He could go and win the title and be the best guy, and we'd be like, okay, finally. Yeah. Or he could start strong and fade off, and we could be like, okay, it's like the last 2 years. Like, I really don't know what, I guess I would, if I was financially invested in betting, I probably wouldn't go there because there's too many questions. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Would you? I mean, if he wins the title, are you going to be surprised? No. Like, he's Ken Roxon. But there's a lot of other variables with him that not other guys are having to deal with. So I just wonder, like, I need answers to those questions before I can go all in. Yeah. On the talent side, I'm all in. But there's just things. Yeah. And I need to make sure that those things are good before I would, like, be all in, And the competition getting stiffer doesn't help him. It hurts him more, I think, than anybody.
If we get to like round 4, round 5, and he's still starting off slow and doesn't look good, I seriously worry. Like, it's how much longer is Honda going to keep that? Like, they've invested so much money into him, and really he hasn't delivered on what they've invested in. Simple as that.
No, and it's true, and there's pressure behind that. That's the thing you got to remember. It's like all these riders will tell you, "Oh, I'm not worried about pressure. I put so much pressure on myself," and that's true. But you still have pressure from your sponsors, your manufacturers, your fans, the media, the industry, and that guy's had a lot of pressure on him for a long time now to make right on that Honda contract, which again wasn't his fault. He had injury that caused a lot of problems. Yeah. It was no one's fault. But you just kind of get wondering, like, how much like a beating can Kenny take throughout the season before he just kind of goes, I can't hang with this anymore. And even Honda, I mean, what happens with Honda when, if it's not going well, and then you got this kid Sexton who is like their next, they're not expecting him to be the guy. It's Kenny. Kenny's the guy. Chase is the next guy. But if Chase comes out in the first 5 and is, doing what I think he's going to do, which is be one of them, there's going to be this new pressure that I don't think Kenny's had yet, where he's having a teammate he's going to have to worry about. He's always kind of been his own guy. When he was with RCH Suzuki, he didn't have a teammate to worry about. At Honda, he's never had, Seeley or Brayton. They're not like in the shadows. Where Chase Sexton, I'm sorry to tell you, he's going to be legit. And when does that become not an issue, but just become another pound of pressure added on to the things that he's already having to deal with? I just wonder if he can handle more pressure and more weight, because the guy's already dealing with a lot. And I don't know. Nobody knows. I talked to Ricky about it. Like, we don't know. Like, we want it to be good, but we just don't know.
Referring back to Sexton, do you put Sexton as a tier 1 dude? Like, do you put him top 5, or is he like a top 8? Or
straight up, like,
here we go.
You heard what I said. Dude, he's tier 1, dude. Okay, so here's why. Yes, he's a rookie, and he's very young for a rookie too. He's younger than most. Yeah. But some people have it. They have it, and that guy has it. He beat Faulkner in that title. It was a gift. Yep. He don't like the way it happened. He'll admit it. Last year, though, he rode with a lot of authority. He did things that needed to be done when it mattered. Yep. He grew up big time in 1 year. Yeah. And this summer I saw speed, and I'm like, yeah. And when he won that last round, I said, yeah, you guys are screwed.
Yeah.
Because the dude is fundamentally flawless. He's perfect. He's on a great team. He's big, strong, and I really don't think he has any fear of the competition. And if he does, James Stewart will get that out of his head immediately, because James Stewart has no fear. So I really think he's pretty dangerous for 2021. And I say it as a joke because, like, I just, I would love to be the guy who said he's going to win the title and be right. I'm wrong about so much stuff. But think about it. He's Dungy-esque a little bit, the way he's very strong and solid and smart. And I think some people just have the it factor. Jet Lawrence is another one. Like, some people just kind of have something that the others don't. And he doesn't ride or race like a rookie. Yeah. So he's tier 1 to me, straight up. And that's how does Ken Roxon deal with that when we get a month in? Like,
Yes, and
that's a real question.
Yeah, and that was one of my questions with Kenny as well. Like, I mean, I can't remember if this is his last year of his contract or not, but like, you get through this season, he has a rough season. As you said, he's had a child. He'll be financially set up for a long time from what he's done in his career. Do you just see him go, man, this is just too much now? Like, here, give it to the kid and let the kid go with it now?
I don't know. I mean, listen. I've asked that same question. I've said, hey, if it becomes too much, does he just say, I just can't handle this anymore? And I mentioned that to somebody who's in the know.
Yep.
And they pretty much said, if you saw the checks that come in every month, you don't walk away from that. Nobody does. So I don't know if he would be willing to walk away from the checks just because. So I don't think so.
Nah.
I'm not walking away.
Nah.
I don't care what's going on. If those checks were my checks, I'll stick around forever. Forever.
I think we all would.
Yeah.
I think we all would. So obviously, like, the chasing, like, I agree with you with Chase. Like, I love watching that dude ride a dirt bike. Like, and the best race I think I've ever watched, well, not ever watched, but watched in a long time, was him and Christian Craig at the last round at Par, like, two of the nicest looking guys on a bike ever. But my question to you, Daniel, is going to the other guy who I'm a big fan of, AC. You got the Sexton and AC story starting to develop and all that sort of stuff. What's your pick between the two? Like, I mean, we've spoken about it, Nick and I, in depth about what we think, and it's hard to break them apart. What's your opinion on those two guys together?
I mean, my first thought is, like, how healthy the sport is.
Yeah.
Knowing that we've got talent at that age that's just getting started. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
I'm weird like that. I always look in, like, 5-year waves. I want to know, because when Carmichael retired, it's like, the sport's ruined. We're losing Ricky. What's going to happen? But then, like, guys come. It cycles. So my first thought is, you have AC and Sexton, and you're just like, dude, thank God. Like, we're safe. Like, we got major talent at a young age. But if you want to look at the two side by side, there's similarities and there's differences. But they remind me of each other in a little bit of a way. AC's pretty fundamental, too. I don't think he's fundamentally as perfect as Chase is. I think he's a little sloppier. But I think he's probably a little raw speed. He's got more raw speed than anybody ever. Like, he's the fastest guy. I'll put money down he's fastest in Houston. Well, yeah, I'll put money down he's fastest.
When I put money
down, I always lose.
Yeah,
I always lose. But no, it's the same thing as Sexton. I'm so optimistic for him. But the one thing that scares me is this: he's got a repetitive thing of there's always these just goofy mess ups.
Yeah.
And if that guy ever figures out how to eliminate those, like, they're all in big trouble, because I think he's faster than anybody. But his biggest problem has always been he's too passionate. He wants it so bad, and sometimes when you want it too bad, you take chances or you lose focus because you're emotionally driven. And that's the thing is, Ryan Villapoto told me this one time. He was like, racing is simple. When the gate goes down, you just go your fastest to the checkered. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
And it's great to hear it that way, and it worked for him. That's what worked. With AC, I think he's pretty emotional in a positive. He wants it so bad. Drive is pouring out of him, but that's what bites him every time. Every mistake I see out of him comes from too much passion and drive and want. And I think if he could scale that back and rely on his speed a little bit better and go like, look, I'm fast enough, I'm good. And treat every night like it's not Loretta's, because I think he kind of treats every night like this is the one.
Yep.
If he can eliminate that and go, I'm going to back it off 5% emotionally and just click my laps, like he could win the title straight up. He's just as good as anybody, and he's probably faster than everybody. So, again, his biggest problem to me is he's almost too driven in the 20 minutes where you need to kind of just trust your instincts more. And I think that he gets a little too caught up because he wants to win so damn bad, and it gets him. And it's like wash out here, wash out. It's not like he's flipping through the air every time. It's little things because he just doesn't want to give an inch. And I think if he gave an inch, he would actually be better for it.
I remember you saying that, like, that AC simply needs to, like, cut out some of this goofiness and, you know, just tone it down a couple and, like, literally just get them, just finish the races mainly, and it'll all put together. And literally 2 weeks after you said it, he wins the moto.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't be any more closer to the point.
He must be listening to Yeah. I think I even made a joke like, he's got someone way smarter in his corner than me that's probably yelling at him the same thing every day. So it's not, but the timing looked good for me, but he ain't listening to me.
We all did, though.
I'll take it, but I had no influence on that. He's got Nick Way in his corner. Nick Way is so freaking smart, man. Like again, he's got good people around him. It's going to come together. Like that guy's going to win so much. Yeah. And he's so young, but he just needs to trust himself more and realize that he doesn't have to go over because he's good enough to not have to do that. And he'll be fine. The dude's so sick. He'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we spoke about that like when we were talking about how we break the two apart. Like, and as you said, like we put money down that AC is going to be quickest at Houston. Like he's got that raw speed, but then Chase is a little off that, but he's, you know, as you said, fundamentally just way better. But I'm a huge AC fan. I want to see him, you know, I want to pick him for the title, but again, it's one of those ones where it's a hope and a prayer a little bit until you see what he comes out with. But yeah, I'm hoping that he cleans it up that little bit, takes it off like that 2%, and you know he's gonna be the guy here in the future for sure.
Not riding style wise, and even the crashes aren't the same, but he reminds me of Trey Kennard a little bit, where he's just too committed to letting everything out of the bag at every minute. It's just like it's almost too much. All right, let's just see. I'll go for it, and I don't. That will work at Monster Cup. That will work. Loretta Lynn's. It doesn't work for 4 months.
No,
it doesn't work for 4 months.
No, definitely right. And as I said, look, you watch him even in his, you know, I mean, the Instagram bangers that every one of them puts up in this off season, and he looks just as good on the bike as well as the top guys, you know. So it'll be interesting to see what we get come Houston 1. The next guy I wanted to talk about is obviously our, you know, the 2020 450 outdoor champ in Zach Osborne. Like, he's another guy that, I mean, it's taken us a little bit to get to him, but he's another guy that could be there and we could be talking about come the final rounds at Salt Lake.
Yeah, and well, you know, it's funny. It's not fair because he's won 3 championships before the summer. He won the, you know, 250 outdoor and 250 supercrosses. So it's like the guy's been racking up titles now for a while, but I kind of felt like I needed to see what he did this summer and win that 450 title to make me believe that he's got a shot at it. Because before that, I would always think, oh, he's good, but this or but that. But winning the 450 outdoor title and even having a couple bumps in the road that he had to come back from, and like, you know, he had a week. What was the one? He lost a bunch of points. Something happened, and he bounced back the next weekend. So seeing that and seeing him just handle the whole thing, now I feel like he needs to be in consideration for the title because he's proven on a 450 that he can go from the beginning to the end. Where before I just felt like there's just a couple things that I don't feel like he's got that they got. But when you look at Salt Lake and then you look at the summer and you just know how he works and you know where he's at, like, you know, and who he's battling with every day, the math tells me he's got to be in consideration. I do think, I mean, and it's unfair to say a little bit, but I don't know if he's got the Supercross skill set that a couple of other guys have, like Chase and AC and even Eli. I feel like it's a little bit harder for him, but lucky for him, it's just his DNA makeup. He's such a fighter that I think he overcomes that a lot. But that kind of it bites him every once in a while. He has some big get-offs because I think he's pushing at that max, and I think sometimes it just catches up to him. So if he's going to get the title, he's going to have to be like a boa constrictor and just suffocate these guys late in motos, and just, if he's got a fifth on the board, get to third in the last 3 laps. Like, he's going to have to just do a lot of that kind of stuff. I think it would be a gritty, messy championship for him to get, because that's how he would have to do it, is just beat these guys in a fight, because I don't think it'll come easy to him indoors. It'll never come just like you watch Ken Roxon some nights and you're just like, God, like that, even try.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be like that for Zach. He's going to have to really fight. But he's proven that he should be considered a contender, and I consider him one for sure.
Do you think that confidence is all that was missing? Like, was it more so in his head now that he knows, okay, I can do this, I can win races? Like, is that the missing piece of the puzzle for Osborne, or?
Yeah, I think it's all of them. Put it this way: there's probably 10 guys on the line of the main that think they can win. They think they can. There's probably 3 or 4 that know they can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the big difference. You know what I mean? Like, if you're on the line going, God, I think I could do this, well, then the first piece of adversity shoots it right at you. I mean, then you're just done.
Yeah.
Where someone who knows they can win, they can have a couple of things happen in a moto and they still just don't give in because they think they should. Yeah. So I think it's not a belief that he can, it's more a belief that he should now. That's where I think he turned the page this summer. Again, it went from a guy who was like, I think I can do this, to, oh, I'm winning. Yeah. I'm winning.
Yeah.
And that's the big step, and it takes a win or two. And it's funny because I really do think that Salt Lake win gave Zach just that little shove over the fence. Yeah. And it went from being from a believer to a demander. Like, I demand to win, where before it's like, I think I can.
Yeah.
So that's to me, that's where the brain, that's how you become a real title threat and a race winner in the 450 class, is when you can move from being a believer in yourself to demanding that result every time. Yeah. That's when you turn the page.
Yeah, and I mean, the Salt Lake win, as you said, sort of give him that nudge. And then for me, watching the outdoor series, like, I believe that ride at WW where he held off Tomac to the end there, that's what gives me a little bit more hope leading into Supercross. Like, yeah, fundamentally his riding style is not set up for Supercross, but knowing in the back of your mind that Tomac was the dominant outdoor rider for the last 3 years and has won the most Supercross, and at his, I wouldn't say preferred discipline, but he's won 3 titles back-to-back in that discipline. He straight up beat him when he was on one of those Tomac specials, that just late in the race charges, and he beat him straight up and didn't have to. Man, that, like, Osborne is that confidence guy, and that would, I mean, if it was me, I'd be like, dude, Supercross is not a thing now. I'm going to beat these guys. Like, if I can do that there, I can do it in a stadium.
Yep.
I agree, but the way he did that race, where he had to fight off Eli, it's going to take whatever he was in that mode. Yes. It would have to be a lot of that. Like I said, he's not going to work everybody. No. He's not going to just smoke everybody. So it'll be that kind of stuff 17 times for him to pull it off. But
lost him. Connection's gone.
He's going to have to dig deep, like last 5 minutes every week. Yeah. And I don't think that's a problem for him. I think he kind of likes that. So it's okay. It's good for him.
It's good. Yeah, no, we're excited to see. And I mean, like, already where we've gone through like 6 names there that are all in contention, and I've got a heap more that I want to talk about, that's for sure. The next guy to me is obviously Osborne's teammate Anderson, who was the 18 champion. The years of muddling themselves up here. 18 champion. He didn't show too much last year, but he's changed his program and he's out doing his own thing now. Like, What we've heard a couple of different opinions, but what's your opinion on what Anderson can bring here in 2021?
This one's hard for me because you got this public perception versus what I privately know about the guy. Like, his jersey's untucked. He likes to hang with his boys, team fried. That is cool for him as a person, as his brand and who he is as a guy. But that guy works as hard as anybody, and he is he's a racer. He's a big lights kind of guy. Like, I think of the Motocross of Nations. I think of Anaheim 1 a couple years back. Like, he just has this thing, like, when the lights are on, he does better than everyone expects all the time.
Yeah.
So he's in the conversation. He's won a championship before, and he's healthy, and he's on the same – there's no reason you can't say he's going to be one of the contenders. I guess my question coming in would be, does he want to suffer enough to be the champion, or does he like where he's at and being 1-7 on a bad night, whatever, where he just goes and rides and he has fun and it's like cool no matter what? Because he's got this attitude. I've seen him win and come off and he looks grumpy.
Yeah.
And I've seen him get like 8th and he comes off and he looks the exact same. And I kind of don't know if he really feels different. I kind of feel like he likes racing.
Yeah. More technical difficulties here.
The good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff.
It'll catch up.
Months. And I don't know if he's got that. That's just, I don't know. I feel like you have to have it though. So that's where my question begins and ends with him. Kinda.
Yeah. One of the bets I've got so far is that the first hole shot of the year will be Joey Savacci. What is your thoughts on the number 17 with the Rocky Mountain KTM for this season?
I'm happy for him that he landed where he did. He's a hard one to understand because he was a rookie of the year. He showed so much promise, and then since then it's been just. I mean, look what you guys did to him down there. You guys ruined everything.
We had nothing to do with that.
I know. But you know what I mean? Like, he's so off the radar because it's been a while since he's been like up there that I kind of like I forget about him, and I don't think that's fair. He was a rookie of the year. The guy's won how many 250 Supercrosses? So, but you know what? You got money on a hole shot. I'll go with you. I'll throw a little bit on that because I can see him hole shot in round 1.
No problem. Boy.
ATMs are good starters. He's a good starter. So I'll throw $5 on that.
I'm in.
But now I probably ruined the whole damn thing for jumping in. Whenever I bet money, I lose.
Yeah, do that because I've got it on the AC9. He had pulled a lot of hole shots last year too. Everyone seems to forget. Even outdoors, he was murdering starts outdoors. So yep. I'll bet against you for sure. I'll take you $10.
Dream team here, bro. Yeah. Dream team.
I'll just send it to you because I'll lose it. But no, I like Joey coming in.
Yep.
A little bit of a fresh start, a little bit of a reset. He needs it.
Yep.
And I like the guy. Some people give him a hard time because of his demeanor and the way he comes across. I personally am okay with it. I think he's a good dude, and I think he gets a lot of crap unfairly. To be honest, I think he's a really good dude that gets. There's a perception on him that I don't think is fair.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and we've spoken about that too. Like, in depth. Like we should really record a lot of our conversations because we go in depth on a lot of this stuff. But we've spoken about that, and I'm the same. Like, the stuff that happened with Osborne, like he gets criticized for that, and it's like, that's unfair. And then you get the other, the stuff that happened with Eli at Monster Cup and all the stuff, and it's just like, really, like, you guys, if any of us were put in that same situation, you don't think we would have done the same thing? But nobody sees that. They just like want to blow him out because, again, as you said, he doesn't have that perception within, and that, everyone sort of puts him in a box, and it's like, that's not fair to just follow everyone else's opinion. Like, I'd love to meet the guy to have a chat and just ask him some questions that I've had, because I mean, he'd probably answer them and I'd be like, yeah, I'm a fan now, you know, because he'd probably answer it in a way.
Every time I've ever spoke to him, he's super polite, very direct, answers questions. He's pretty open and honest, which ends up biting him sometimes because he tells the truth on what he feels. And I don't think he knows how to message it in a tone that sounds great. So people think they don't like the way he says his truth. And that's not fair. I mean, if he's going to say the truth, I'm grateful for it. I'd rather hear that than just have someone smile at me and not tell me anything.
Yeah.
And that sucks, to be honest. So I'd rather have him be the way he is. I like him.
That's one thing that annoys me so much about it is people say, okay, I want to see like the true person who he is. I want the riders not to act like robots. I want them to show emotion. I want them to be honest. The second he goes and does it, he gets slandered for it. Like, what do you want?
We need to keep... hey, you're about to go on a tangent here,
I'm cheering up.
You're a big fan here.
Well, okay, so listen. Everyone wants the riders to be more open and honest and whatever. But they all want everyone to be AC. Like, they're like, be open and honest like AC and be smiley and happy. And it's like, if you want someone to be open and honest, you're not going to get that same personality. Dude, not everyone was gifted like Adam of being just he's such a glowing person. He's just, super positive. You're not going to get that from everybody. So when you say you want someone to be open and honest, realize that might be their open and honest way. Not everyone's going to be Adam. It's Adam has this like pedestal a personality that's not fair. He makes it really bad for everyone else because he's so cool, like, and so likable. And it's like not, it's people want everyone to act like AC. It's not going to happen.
No, that's right. I mean, yeah, we'll see what Joey. Like, I think he's definitely on I mean, as bad as it is to say, a much better motorcycle. I mean, I had the Suzuki and I've ridden it, and it's a great bike. But I think compared to what he rode last year, and he has said he wasn't comfortable on it. To hop it on this KTM, which has been proven with factory parts, I think we're going to see that 19 Joey that was on Cowie this year in 21. I think
maybe better too, because even on Instagram he's posting videos where he's working with Michael Byrne. I mean, let's be honest about Blake Baggett. Blake, he was not a good Supercross rider at first, and Michael Byrne really changed some things. Joey is actually a better Supercross rider out of the box than Blake was. Yeah. So if Michael Byrne can have some impact there, like, I think Joey could actually be a lot better than we even think, because he's got someone that's fixing a couple little things that Joey was doing wrong. And if he can make Baggett be the fastest dude I've ever seen in the whoops ever, I'm pretty sure he can help Joey too.
Yeah, that's right. And it just goes to show us Australians, really got a talent for this thing. He's pretty good, Michael.
Yeah, Byrne. You guys have had a few decent ones like Chad and
it's been a while.
And now Jet, the little.
Yeah, we're stoked that we got those.
We're going good.
Yeah, we're happy we've got the next way, because when obviously Chad.
Yeah, hey, you guys lucked out on your timing, man. Right when Chad's on his way out, Jet comes in. Like, that could have been a bad gap for y'all.
We were only talking about that the other week.
Yeah, we spoke about that the other week, and we were like, man, it's very fortunate, because with Chad on the way out, we're like, oh damn, we don't have it. We've had a lot of guys go over there and try, and there's some more coming over this year as well to ride Supercross, with Tanti coming over as well. But yeah, just the luck where the Lawrence brothers come right at the right time. And I mean, for us, like, we're big fans too, because I mean, I've known Jet since he was 6 years old, running around. Like, he raced at all our state level stuff, so we've known them since they were tiny, and it's cool to see him over there now on that big stage. But we don't want to go too deep into 250 stuff.
Do we see Chad at a Supercross? Does Chad race a Supercross this year, Daniel?
I actually talked to Chad today.
I
have the answer to that. And I can't share it.
He's not breaking it up.
Oh.
Yeah, so
we'll find out.
Look, here's the truth. Let me tell you the truth, because I get this a lot, because I am a secret holder, bad, and I always tease it, and I apologize.
You got to drop the seed
on my own show. Problem is I know stuff that I just can't it's not my place to say. And I'm also not media. Like, I'm not like breaking news, get your info from Daniel. That's not me. I like other people to get it, and then I'll comment on it because I want to analyze it, but I'm not a journalist like that. So the news of him will come out, and when it does, we'll talk about it, but the timing is bad that you're asking, because I talked to him today and I know the answer. So.
Well, that's good. We'll wait and see. As I said, either way, I think it's going to be, if we see Chad, we do. If we don't, then
one more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he went out. He's still healthy. That's the main thing I think that we really need to focus on, is he's had a long career and been very fortunate in his injuries. That's for sure.
Oh, he's a legend, man. Yeah, guy, he's something else. That's right.
All right, let's get back onto this. We don't want to take up too much of your time. You've obviously got a party to go and attend to, so we got a few more here. The biggest, one of the biggest changes in the off-season was obviously the introduction of Gas and Justin Barsha signing for Gas and that sort of stuff. And if you've been watching the Instagram videos and that, he looks awesome on that Gas. What, where do you see Justin coming in and to 21?
All right, so how you come into a season and you got like your favorite, like who, like I don't know, like for me, I would probably say Webb would be who I fall. Like if you said Daniel, pick now, I pick Webb.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But it's really, really close. But if you said Daniel, give me the guy who you think is not being considered enough, whatever. It's Barsha. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to put some pieces together right now that are going to make sense, and I think you'll understand when I'm done here. Barsha has had a very weird 450 career. He was a unbelievable rookie. Remember, he came out on that Honda and like won a couple. Like we haven't seen a rookie that sick in a long time. He was better than I think he might have been better than Kenny, Eli. He was a really good rookie. Made the decision, and I think team-wise made a lot of moves that probably didn't end up working out the best, whatever.
Yep.
He is on now, I think, the absolute best bike that he could ever be on for him. And I think a couple of years ago, remember there was that debate over Tickle and Barsha, who was going to end up on KTM.
Yep.
And when that talk was happening, I was like, oh, man, if Barsha ends up at KTM, look out. So he goes on to Gas now, same thing, but he's the face, he's the man, and I think he likes to be like the man. And TK, the team manager, I think he wants someone like Bam Bam.
Yeah.
There's just too perfect of a fit everywhere across the board. And if you look back in their 250 careers, Barsha was better than any of these guys.
Yeah.
Any. Like he's the best, one of the best 250 Supercross riders we've ever had. I mean, he almost perfect seasoned it. He's incredible. So I think, purely from a Supercross standpoint, I think he has things that Eli don't have, Cooper don't have. I think he's got some things. It's been all about getting him in the right situation. And honestly, the bike, the team, his age, his health, you mix all that together, and he honestly could straight up win this thing and shock everybody, but you all shouldn't be shocked. Go back 7 years ago, he's better than any of these guys ever.
Yep.
So there's a magical combination, I think, happening with him. And really, if you look at how he did last year, he got, fourth in points or something.
Yeah.
So it's not like he just fell apart. He was good all the way to Salt Lake City, and I think he truly was having bike issues there because that bike doesn't react well in the hard pack as much. So you put him on these tracks, on that gas, and he's healthy, and from what I've heard, conversations with the people around him, super scary. And if you're not taking him serious, everybody out there they're foolish.
Yeah.
He honestly could win the title, and you should not be surprised if he does, straight up.
No, we've had that conversation too. Like you could, we want to see what he comes out like, but if you're going off what, all the facts that you laid out on paper, like he should be very scary. And he's even, in interviews that he's done since he signed it, he's wanted to be on this motorcycle. So if you have that in your head where it's like, this is the motorcycle I want to be on, and you take that into a full preseason, healthy, riding the best, and you go into Houston 1 with that attitude, like he's won A1 the last 2 years in a row. He could win Houston 1, and then if he can be comfortable every week on this bike, where we heard of the struggles he had with that Yamaha, there is no reason why we could not be saying that he could be the 2021 Supercross champion.
Agreed. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to come out and say he's gonna.
No.
I'm just saying if he does, don't be shocked because you shouldn't be.
No.
There's more there than y'all realize because he's got that 5-year period where things were kind of weird, so everyone's got this perception. They don't realize that last year was really, really good. And I think he's on a better bike for him than he was last year. And the scariest thing is he knows it. And when he's confident, he's scary. And I think everyone's afraid of him too, to be honest. So
for sure.
I'm super, super high on him, like way high.
Yeah. Now, Dylan Ferrandis, what do you see? Where do you put him for success? Like, if he's a top 7 guy, that's a good thing, right? Like, that's a successful transition into the 450 class for him. Or do you see him being higher up on the scale? Or where does he fit into these tiers? Like, we got no stats to go off, so.
So you know how on paper we talked about Barsha and Eli and how just on paper so much makes sense? With him, it's the opposite to me. And I think long-term he's fine. Like, I'm going to talk about 2021 right now. That's it. So everybody out there, don't freak out on me and get mad. Like, I like Dylan. Long-term, he's fine.
Yeah.
This hand injury, not good timing. Him being a little smaller on a bike that I think is not good for smaller people, not the best fit. He's a rookie in the deepest, gnarliest class we've ever had. That's not good for him. He's not been the best starter.
Yep.
That's not good for him. So I could build an argument that says this is not a good combo coming in for his first year. And I think it's going to be like that. So for you saying top 7, if he ends up 7th in points, he should be so happy.
Yeah.
Because he's got to build off that, and there's things that are going to have to get better over time. But there's too many things that add up to me of being it's not going to be as easy as something. The Dylan fans out there, I think, need to be patient. Yeah. That's all I got to say. I don't see 2021 being the defining year of what he's going to be. That's not going to happen. He's going to be really good for 5 to 7.
Yeah.
But 2021, I believe, is going to be very, very tough for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same opinion as that. I mean, that the other question with obviously that whole Yamaha team switching over to Star and that sort of stuff, do you Plessinger's gone back over as well. Do you think that Star are going to do a better job with this Yamaha than factory, or do you think it's going to be the same? They're still going to have these issues. Like, do you think it was the bike or the team that were having the issues?
A combo. I think the Yamaha. Here's what I honestly think. I think the Yamaha 450 might be the best 450 out of the box of any of them. They're so rad. They're comfortable. They got an unbelievable power band. I think the Yamaha, it's awesome.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think from a factory level, I think that they were limited because just the chassis and the way it's built doesn't like to do certain things, and you can't really change that. So I think they're stuck a little bit with the base package, but I do think the Star team will get more out of it because I think they're used to working with younger riders who need more help.
Yeah.
So they're already kind of used to steering the ship a little bit better for their guys because they usually deal with 250 riders. So I believe that Plessinger going back will be more comfortable because he's with people that he's won with. So I think he'll feel home. Dylan staying with Star Yamaha and not leaving to factory Yamaha is the best thing that could have ever happened to him because he could stay with the same people that know him. So I think the whole thing moving there is great for AP. I think it's great for Mookie. I think it's great for Dylan. And I think they will get more out of the bike for those guys. Not necessarily get more. In fact, to tell you the truth, they might get less out of the bike, which will be better for those guys.
Yep.
So I think it's a perfect fit for all of them. Moving to Star, I think that's great. Again, I feel like for all 3 of those riders, it's just a tough year. It's a tough year, and they're going to have to be at their best of best to really break through because the class is so filthy.
Yeah,
that's where I sit.
More so for Aaron Plessinger as well. Like, Plessinger needs a breakthrough year to secure himself another ride. It's simple as that because, let's be honest, the last couple of years, they haven't been good. And he needs, it's just bad timing like this. Like, what was the stat? It was like 19 people in this class have won a race before. Like, it's just, it's not working in his favor. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
But I hope that the teams out there will look and be able to look past the paper on what Aaron does. Because Aaron, if he has a solid year with no injuries and just builds, and say he ends up 9th in points in Supercross and 8th in outdoor. I hope that the teams out there realize how good that is.
Yeah.
That's really good for him. Like, if he goes 9-9 in indoor outdoor, someone should jump on that, because he just hasn't had a fair shot in my opinion. And he hasn't been great. It's not like it looked good and then he had bad. It's been bad, but I don't think it's been fully fair. Every time he's been gotten it going, he's gotten hurt on something super weird, and it's not his fault. Like he got 5th at Atlanta and then went to Daytona and he was out. It's like, so for Aaron, again, I just hope he's not sitting there going, I better win or I'm not going to be ever considered again or something like that. I hope that he goes top 10 overall, indoor, outdoor, just like a rock. And then I hope someone goes, okay, now let's take Aaron, or maybe Star keeps him and let him build off that. He's just never built off of anything. It's always coming from a problem. And it's so for me, it's just I still think something's there, but I got to see a solid year all the way through for me to want to buy in. Because he just, I haven't seen that. I don't even want to. I don't even care. Don't want a heat race. Don't even be on the podium. Just do what Malcolm did last year. Like
exactly.
Malcolm was like 6'7", 7'8", 7'6". Just do that, and I'm all in. He's got to do that at a minimum. At a minimum.
For sure. All right, well, Daniel, we got 2 more questions for you if you got the time for them. Staying on that Star Racing Yamaha, obviously Malcolm Stewart, just touched on him, gone to that Yamaha. Personally, I'm so excited to see what he can do. He's a bigger, stronger dude, which is, as you said, has lent itself better to that Yamaha and that chassis. He looks filthy fast in everything that we've seen and heard from the test tracks. I'm excited to see if Mookie can build off what he did this year, as you said, those 7/8s, whatever, and if he can start running that Yamaha in that top 5, I reckon if that happened, he would have to be stoked with that season running that thing in the top 5.
I agree. So last year, the night before Anaheim won, I went out to dinner with their team. And got to talk to him and Justin Hill and Freese. Like, I got to talk to all of them. And Malcolm told me, he's like, I just want to be solid. And I'm like, because I'm like, dude, you got this Mookie speed, man. Like, you got this crazy speed. And he's like, I just want to be solid. I just want to be solid. And I remember that night being like, okay, usually everyone's like, oh, I want to win. I want to be on the podium. And he was like, I just want to be solid. And he did it all the way through. He did exactly what he set out to do. Like AP, like I said, he put together a solid year. Now from there, you can take it somewhere because you're coming off of a year of really like a foundation. And for him, I think the bike, like it's like with Barsha, it's the best fit for Malcolm is that bike. I think that's the best bike for him. He's big, he's strong, and that bike has power and needs some muscle. So it's like he's now in the perfect situation, coming off of a perfect year of what he needed, and now it's go time. The biggest challenge, of course, is a field of 19, whatever you said, guys that have won. So that's going to be a problem for everybody. But if you're looking for like a perfect fit, this is the perfect fit. I think the star guys are the type of people that will work super good with him. Bike, fitness. He already works with Swanepoel, so there's no change. The only change is going to be getting on a different bike that he likes and like had no problem with, where, that's not for everybody. So I love the fit. I love it. I don't know if he's a race winner title guy, but I could see everything from last year being better. 5, 6, 7 instead of 7, 8, 9. Like I could see it all moving forward because everything in his program seems to be just a little bit better for him.
And he's finally on that factory bike too, which is something I think he's been chasing his whole career as well. Like, I mean, when he did, let's go 250 class and he was on Geico, that's a factory 250 effort. He won a title, and then since he's been a 450, he hasn't been on that factory bike. So now he's found that, there's going to be a little bit of hidden motivation in that for him as well to go, right, now I've got the equipment. This is what I can do.
Yep. I agree. I love it all the way through. Again, you always look at the rider and the team and you ask yourself, like, is it the right fit? And sometimes it takes a while to become the right fit. Eli Tomac with his Cowie was it didn't mesh because he was pretty much riding Villapoto's bike that was built for him. So it took him a couple of years, and now Eli, I can't even imagine him on anything else. It's so perfect now. It's like it's meshed. I think Malcolm and Star Yamaha is a right out of the gate perfect mesh. Like it's it's going to be good right away. I don't think there's going to be a learning curve for either. I think they're just a perfect match, perfect fit.
Yeah, perfect. All right, well, I got one more question for you. We've talked about all the riders and everything like that, and as I said, it's going to be an awesome season of Supercross. I mean, we just can't wait. Like, we're sitting here and it's like, is a Supercross season yet? Like, can we get to watch some racing? And I mean, and we're going to have it coming heavy at us with this new schedule. What are you most looking forward to in the new schedule, the new layout, some new venues, things like that? Like, what are you most looking forward to as you know, you get to be at all these events?
I'm looking forward to flying half as much. I don't mind being away from home. I like being there. I love being there. Salt Lake was so rad. I love it. I hate airports. I hate parking at airports. I hate every single thing about the travel. I hate it.
Yeah.
I love being there. So if I can cut my flights in half and I'm going to be there twice as much and fly half as much. So for me, the schedule is so good.
Yeah.
I wish they were closer to home because I'm on the West Coast and most everything's centered east. So, you know, I wish I could, you know, be closer. So maybe I could have family flying a little more or whatever. But honestly, I'm looking forward to being there and kind of having that summer camp feel again. Salt Lake was so rad. Like, I love being there, and like it was like home for a while. So I like having these little mini camps that we're going to. But yeah, like I said, just cutting the flights in half is the best part. I hate airplanes. Like,
yeah,
I would drive. If I didn't have responsibilities at home, I would load up my family and I would just drive like Kevin Windham did for 5 years and just go from race to race. Like, I hate flying. Hate it.
So, what round can we see you bust out Petrogan?
What round? What?
What round are you going to bust out Petrogan? The Blazer.
You know, I don't know. I gotta talk to NBC, get approval, but dude, I might come right out with it.
Dude, why not, right? Just roll with it straight off.
I mean, straight up, dude. Honestly, I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm about 10, 15 pounds lighter than I was a year ago. And that shirt was kind of hard to get into. I got to be honest. The buttons were like screaming to stay on. So it looks better on me now. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll put it this way. I'll bring it to Houston. I don't know if I'll have the courage to bring it out round one, but by the third one, we'll bring Pedrogan out.
Yeah, boy.
You'll be back in. Well, look, Daniel, we appreciate your time coming on our show. You know, for us, we just try to get as many insights as we can into the industry over there. Like, yeah, at the moment, we are all stuck. Well, I wouldn't say stuck, but we can't come over and be a part of it as we would love to. But, you know, you giving us your time, coming on the show here, giving us your insight, you know, you're one of the best in the business when it comes to analyzing this stuff. Like, we're both fans of obviously your podcast, the Main Event Moto ones. You know, and you give us all this insight that, you know, not too many people can give. So for you to give us, you know, an hour of your time right now, we really do appreciate it.
No problem. Like I said, I love this stuff, and I know you guys do too. And when I'm there, I'm working. Yeah. Like I'm an insider. I'm in the sport, but every other minute of the day, I'm a fan. Yeah, so like, you hit me up, you're like, you want to come to the show? I'm like, talk about dirt bikes, talk about Supercross. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? I'm very grateful that I'm still in the industry in the way that I am. Like, I tell people this all the time. When you're a racer and you get towards the end, it's like really scary. You just don't know like what life's like. And for me, I went a couple years too long because I was so scared. And the fact that I was able to get into this now and I am able to do what I'm doing and still be there, but not sleeping in the van. Yeah. Now I'm sleeping at the Westin. Like, dude, life's good. So, but when I get away from there, I'm like just a total nerd fan. Like, so you want to talk dirt bikes? Hit me up. Let's talk. I love it.
Yeah. It's funny, like, you talk about the whole fan, because when you replied to my email, I rang Trent at 1 a.m. and I was like, dude, he replied, he's keen, and we're like both like fanboying over the phone at like 1 a.m. on a Tuesday.
You know what's funny is that is still weird to me because I was a racer for so long. I was a privateer in the back of the pits. I mean, dude, I've slept in the van outside Anaheim Stadium so many times. Like, yeah. And now I have people are like, I'm a fan of you, and I'm like, that's weird to me. I don't feel like I feel like a just a fan podcaster guy, but I get to wear a Pedrogan every once in a while. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel that way. So, so I appreciate hearing it. It's humbling, and it is weird to me still, but we're all the same, man. We're diehard crazy fans.
Yeah.
And so to rap with you guys is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate it. As like when you said that about, you know, what it's scary like. I mean, I didn't make it to the level of sport even you did, you know, but for me, like I quit, came back like 3 or 4 times before I realized that I needed to not go racing anymore. and then I sort of like, well, I want to still do something with the sport. And that's how all this sort of started, was like, man, I love the sport so much that I'll even try and race every now and then to get that fix. But now that I get to do this and, you know, meeting people like yourself, like, you know, and people that are like-minded that sit down and, you know, just want to talk about racing. And, you know, as I said, we have conversations that we're just like, if people could hear what we're talking about right now, it's ridiculous, like the detail that we go into, and we're halfway around the world.
Yeah.
You know, we wish we were there so we could get, you know, riding involved with it like you guys get to.
I've got to go this story. This last story.
Come on, you gotta let him go.
Salt Lake City.
No, that's good. Let's hear it. He's smirking, so it's a good one. What do you got?
Salt Lake City, like Daniel's doing the whole pit reporting thing from the grandstand where the fly racing zone is.
Yeah.
I have a screenshot of my TV of Daniel standing next to my photo, literally in the grandstands. I sent it to fucking everybody. I was like, yeah, boy, that's me.
Next
like,
to your photo?
Yeah, you were standing there because I think it was the person next to me won one of the vouchers or won one of the the gift things,
yeah.
And I was like taking photos of it, sending to him. I was like, yeah, that's like I'm right next to Daniel.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Those were pretty funny because they wouldn't tell me the winner until like the last second. I have to go find it. And they're like, hey, no, row L over, and I'm like, where is it? And then I'd find it, and I'm like, could you guys put it at the end so I don't have to go digging through it? Like, go up there and move the photo. Like, I mean, I almost bailed out of the stands a couple times. Like,
you imagine just seeing a camera of you just like wandering around trying to find this thing. That would have been its own comedy skit in itself. Watching Daniel just roam around the thing looking for this
names.
picture.
Hey, no, I'll tell you a little TV production thing too that you don't know. All of those were taped during the first commercial, but played later. So I'd have to, because of where I had to be at times. So I'd have to run up there, do all that, run back down, and then they would play that clip like an hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
right.
Those were all, everything's live, but every once in a while, based on timing, like something might have to be done and moved or, whatever. So those I'd say 5 out of the 7, I think, were all taped. And then I was back down the track, and then I'll be watching the screen. All of a sudden, it popped back out. Like, oh yeah, I forgot I did that. Like,
what am I doing up there?
It's very weird how we pull off some things.
Yeah, little insight into the TV. All right, Danny, we'll let you go, mate. Thank you again for coming on, giving us your time, and hopefully here in the future we can reconnect and you can give us some more insight, especially once Supercross is sort of rolling through and we're sort of halfway through series or something.
You got it, guys. No problem. Thanks for having me on, and we'll chat soon.
Excellent.
Bye,
thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Blair on the show, dude. I have to give you props. That's I can't even put it into words right now. That was pipe dream. And
okay, I'm going to be honest with you. This is real talk. When I did my homework and reached out, I thought there was 10%.
Yeah.
I got a reply
within
5 minutes, and this was at midnight my time.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm cool. I'm in.
Sweet.
I was like, fucking serious? What?
Yeah.
And then I believe I rung you. No, I ring you or I text you. I was like, I don't give a fuck if you're asleep.
Yeah.
We got DB.
Yeah.
Nah, what a cool guy, man.
Yeah. That was sick. That was so much fun. Talking to him about all that stuff. He's so knowledgeable, and and he loves to bench race.
One of the things, and obviously they won't see this until you can watch it, or hopefully I can get his video, his face and everything on the cam, was when we threw a question at him and it threw him, his facial expression was, you could see, and bang, he had an answer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a 3-word answer.
No.
It was freaking couple paragraph answer
Yeah.
that was just, and once he'd said it, you're just like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, holy shit.
What
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of his stuff. I listen to all his stuff, and he's a little different than everyone else. Like, he doesn't, just the way he thinks about the sport and that, I really enjoy that. And I mean, from that conversation, dude, I hope we have a lot more conversations with him, because that was...
You do realise you owe him $10, right?
Yeah, well, yes, we put it. The bet is that you put $5, but in American, that's like $10 Australian. Yes, but I'm gonna win, and he's gonna have to pay me $2.50.
And I'm gonna pay you $5.
He can pay me $5 American. I'm making money. But nah, dude, it's just super appreciative for him coming on the show, and then the 250 pod as well. Darkside coming on as well. We appreciate both those guys. To give us their time.
Especially like, we're literally trying to connect with America over an iPhone while in a studio, and make it work.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a big feat.
that was.
Dude, we're super proud of what you've done. This is beyond my expectations.
We are. We've got our next goal, but we can't. We're not going to say it just yet, but we know what it is.
Yeah, I think we talk about it in the show.
We do, and I've got a feeling it's a lot closer than
we think.
Yeah,
well, let's see how we go, mate. But as I said, massive shout out to them. So much stuff to unbox in this 450 class. We could have went for another 2 hours, but it's just one of those things. We just keep going round in circles, because this season is going to be stacked.
Okay. Lead pipe lock, real quickly. Houston won. 450 winner. Who is it?
Well, you know the first name that popped in my head. And,
who is it?
AC.
Okay, quickest qualifier.
AC.
250. Who's winning 250 class, Houston? Give me one name.
Dude, that's hard because we don't know who's going.
Give me one name.
I reckon Faulkner, if he rides that coast.
450. Who turns the most heads round one?
It's funny because he shouldn't turn heads, but Barsha on that gas.
It's solid. That's solid. I'm with you on that. I'm off that vibe.
What about you?
Okay. I'm going for a 450 winner. It is either going to be Cooper Webb or Eli Tomac. Quickest qualifier of the day is going to be Adam Cincerillo.
That's pretty easy.
Now we've said that, we've probably fucking jinxed the poor guy.
Sorry, AC. We may never have you on the show.
250, it is going to be the number 18 of Jet Lawrence.
Yeah.
And biggest dude is going to go there and turn heads, dude, it's Savachi, 100%.
Fair.
And if it's not, I'm probably not going to be here.
No show Monday. It's all right.
No show Monday.
It's all right. We just won't be live anymore. Our live stream's gone. He's blown up. He's gone home. Goodbye. No, dude, as I said, I think we're going to have another show before we get stuck in. And once we're a lot closer, I think we're going to be able to see a lot more stuff coming out of Christmas here of who's where, who's at what level, who's injured, who's not. And we're definitely going to have to put down our picks and make that happen. But
so I'm pretty sure we could probably announce it right now, but Moto Limited Show is going to have a personalised fantasy page, which is going to be up in the next 2 weeks. So to join that, obviously you do your normal fantasy, and then there will be a password, which will be on our Facebook page. You enter that password, and then you're inside our fantasy group for the 2020 Supercross season.
Yeah, and that's the Pulpamex Fantasy
League.
So if you haven't been involved, get involved. It's not like the Rocky Mountain Fantasy where it's just pick your top 5 and a wild card. It's if you know American football, there's points and unless you've been around it, it doesn't make. But it's so much fun. You get to look at some of these. There's handicaps, and that's the word I was looking for.
And finally, me and Trent get to prove who's better.
Who's better? Who do we get to see who knows the sport? Which a lot of that game is luck.
I bet you me and you are like last on the leaderboard. We're fighting for the
the
spoon.
Spot. Yeah, we think we're all over it, and every time we get or something, it doesn't. But no, we've got a lot of things coming. This will be our final show of 2020. We've pre-recorded it, so it feels like it's a long way away from saying that, but this is the last show for 2020. We are back 2021, bigger and better. Investing a lot more back into this show. As I said, the live stream here, the 4th of January will be the first show back at 21. It will be live. You'll be able to interact with the show, send messages through on Facebook or on YouTube, and be involved with the show, ask questions while we have guests on. We're still obviously trying to work guests and co-hosts for that show.
Yep.
Which has been so focused on these ones. But we will have all that announced. It'll be coming through social media. We'll start ramping that up. We've got so many plans. We appreciate everyone who's sticking in there and listening into these shows. New listeners coming on board. Go back and listen to some of the old stuff, and hopefully it's gotten better. I feel like we've gotten a lot better since the old stuff. But we're trying to grow this thing. We've got sponsors coming on board now, which is awesome. And look, man, I'm so stoked. I can't. There's a little bit of a reflection, but dude, you talked to me when this thing started, April. I think it was April, March of this year. I started this. June, summer. I can't remember now. It's been a blur, but dude, I would not think we're sitting.
Blur or Blair?
Let's just say I would not be sitting here saying that we've just nailed out some podcasts and had Darkside and Daniel Blair on. There's no way I would have got to that level. And
it's funny, the week that I sort of joined the show and we spoke, like we'd spoken for 2 weeks prior to actually doing a show, you were like, "Oh, I'm sort of worried at the moment, like we've got no content at the moment." Holy fuck!
Yeah, things turn quickly. Which again, as I said, I gotta give you all the praise for that. You've been working behind the scenes and making this happen, and we got so much coming for 21. It's ridiculous. Like even personally with the live announcing I'm going to be doing as well. Like I feel like I've just I can't go racing anymore because I'm just not good enough. But I still want to be in the sport, so I'm trying to do as much as I can to bring as much to the people. That's always what it's been about. Bringing people content, bringing people something to listen to, enjoy, be a part of. Like I have no issue with people wanting to come in studio here, be a part of the show. Dude, ask me. If you can come in studio, come and sit in the hot box. Which for 21, new studio coming, so that's coming as well. We got heaps coming on. But
you worked on an aircon sponsor yet?
Nah, that's we're working. We got work on an aircon sponsor. The new studio will be cooler and nicer. But look, again, appreciate it. If you want to be involved with the show, get in contact with us through social media. We got heaps of stuff coming. I can't even name the stuff, but. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening, being a part of this for 2020. So stoked. 21, bigger, better, badder. We are coming in hot.
Beginning.
We're coming in hot. Again, these 2 shows pre-recorded, so we appreciate you listening. 4th of Jan, tune in, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be live. We're going to be able to bench race the crap out of it. All of our Australian stuff starting to come together too, Nick, over the last couple of weeks here.
Yep.
Things are coming out. We're getting to see who's riding for who. Some big changes, obviously, with Clout and Gibbsy.
Yeah.
Essentially switching teams, even though Gibbsy was Clout was in America, but
I think that's going to be very good for Gibbsy.
Huge.
Like, he will do really, really well on that bike.
Yeah.
Yariv runs a very tight ship, from what we can tell.
Yep.
But it's just... We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, that's it, and we'll go through all that as well as we get closer. But that's going to wrap us up here, show 22. Again, massive thank you to the sponsors involved with the show, MPE Suspension, Pro Powder Coating, and TCX Boots for jumping on board here for 2021. We appreciate all them. Appreciate Nick, your hard work here in the last couple of months to get this going. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my wife, Jessica, for putting up with all of the this hours we've been putting into this and trying to make this. Feeding Nick while he's been here, trying to put his hours in as well to get it up to speed. Giving us the opportunity to chase a dream that I've had for a little bit. Thank you to everyone who reaches out actually and comments into the show, gives us feedback. We appreciate that. Again, we're doing this for you guys, so let us know what's going on, and we want to make it happen and be the best thing that you guys want to listen to. So
absolutely.
Let's wrap that up. Show 22, massive show. Wrap 2020 as well in one show. Show number 22 of 2020. A lot of 20s going on there. Yep. But we will be back next year, back for more action. But until then, We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Moto Limited Network.
We've been out filming for the last 2 days. I'm knackered. Trying to get home, and we're running out of fuel. And we're about 13 k's from home.